Mimosas with Winemakers. We are going to start with our sponsor, and then I appreciate you being here.
Thank you bet. Well, I really appreciate you all taking the time to be with us today. And rather than just talk about loan products and, you know, that kind of stuff, I really want to start our meeting today talking about relationships and success. So as Todd Duncan has noted, you can make a living with transactions, but you can make a fortune with relationships. And I mean, this is what it's been about with Joan and I. Joan and I have had a long term relationship in business that's really grown into a friendship. Now she's kind of in my backyard. She's in Santa Fe now in there. So we built trust, we built, you know, camaraderie. We've been able to work through, you know, a variety of different types of clients. I've seen her just march up the ladder and really strive for the goals of being, you know, a top luxury agent. And I've followed her along in her own real estate endeavors, helping her with financing her properties. So I really think that that takes a lot of trust.
Can I
And,
add to that, Annette?
I'm sorry?
Can I add to that?
Oh, sure.
I think what's really important to know also is, yes, Annette and I have been working together for about almost 6 years now, but I've been in business for 8 years. And I'm a very loyal person and I don't flip back and forth easily. Bill has been from the very beginning, from day one with my license. And I guess the thing that's important to know is just like us with our clients, when they don't hire us right away and they, well, I'm not ready. She waited for 3 years for an opportunity to arise. She always stayed in front of me, but not in my face. And I think that's important. So she may not be asking you for your business today, but I'm asking you to consider putting her in your rear view mirror, just in case you find yourself in a position to bring on another lender. I absolutely can 100% support that this would be the right one. She does my business in Santa Fe and in Albuquerque. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
Thank you so much, Joan. That's what trust and relationship is all about, right? And she trusted that I would bring something beneficial for you today. You see, most realtors think that I'm in the business of doing mortgage loans. I don't see it all that way at all. My primary role is helping you, the realtor, become successful. Because if we don't collaborate together to get the job done, then really, you know, what are we doing? So I can't do that without knowing what is important about success to, you know, to those realtors. So I'm gonna have a little, you know, back and forth here. So with that in mind, what is important about being successful to you? Anybody just shout that out.
Have happy clients.
Happy clients. Great. I'll take 2 more. What does success mean to you in your business? Yes.
I think happy clients. I mean, that's what makes you feel so good at the end of a transaction, when you can see them flourish in their new environment.
Right. Awesome. Awesome.
Definitely.
And one more, Glenn?
Be thought of as honest.
Honest. Exactly. Well, those are very key points. And at Bell Bank, that's our motto. Happy customers mean happy employees. You know, I mean, that's the two go hand in hand. So you hit it right on the dot. So now that we know what's in success, what is important about success to you, what do you look for when working with a mortgage professional? I'll take 3. Good communication. Communication, that's a common one, absolutely.
But the ability to be creative, if you need to be, not outside the box, you know. Within reason.
Communication, creativity, because in this market today, we have to be creative. You know, not everybody fits in the box. So you've got to be able to, reach outside of the box, know alternatives, and know your client in order to fit them properly. One more. Accessible, excellent. Well, and I've given you all, if anybody doesn't have one, let me get you one of these, but, if you'll open up this brochure with me. So could it be time for a change? I mean, change is definitely in the air for all of us. We've gone through a lot in the first half of this year. And, in the brochure, I've got, just my information here. And Team Alvarez Mortgage Solutions consists of myself and my loan officer assistant, who is Gabriella. And we work really as a tight team. And of course, all under the umbrella of Bell Bank. Who all has worked with Bell Bank? Anybody? Okay, we got Todd, we've got Joan. Well, Bell Bank is a bank and a mortgage company. Actually, the mortgage company came first. And the bank side was the State Bank of North Dakota in Fargo. And they merged back in 2011 and became Bell Bank Mortgage. And we are an employee-owned company. We are a private bank. And so we do have depositories, we do have brick and mortar in different states, and we lend in 33 states. So that gives you a wider net to maybe reach out to. I know Keller has a referral program that you can, expand on. So it's always good to know who your team is that you're playing with in this big field, right? And the next thing I have here, just some tips for a smooth closed loan approval. I'm finding that today's buyers really need to know the do's and don'ts. Because they get an idea, oh, I'll just pay off, maybe a bad debt, or I'll just do something like this, or gosh, I'm so close to getting my house, right? Let me just get that, big screen TV, and we'll get the 0% interest credit. No, they don't do that. So we gotta be on top of them, so that's what I have here on this side. And then on the other side, I brought in some items that I think are really important when we're talking luxury. Yeah, that we're talking about, how to do a non-contingent home offer, which may be easier than you think. Bell Bank has bridge loans, we have portfolio lending, we can do asset-based lending. And we also have a great construction and rehab team. So I will keep all that in there for you guys to go over. And finally, let's just talk a little bit about the elephant in the room these days, which is, buyers, right? And who's going to pay the commission. So what's really important as you get out of the gate and as you have that buyer's broker agreement signed is to work with your trusted lender and to go through everything and to know if your buyer can afford to pay the commission, or how can we work out a possible, loan product so that everybody gets paid for the time that they spend. And just to highlight on insurance and condos, those are some little red hot topics that your lender should really know about because they require extra due diligence at the front end. So thank you all so much for your time, and please call on me anytime. I'm a great resource for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. She sponsored our food today, so we appreciate you very much. Bill, he ran around for us and got us all of our beverages. You have something to tell us?
I do. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. And that was fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
The fact that you brought up relationships is really important. That's how I have existed in this industry for a while. I have to ask, who put this out here?
I did.
Did you? This is very cool. I love this.
Thank you.
I have built a relationship with the shelter in Albuquerque. I have a sweet little dog, who gets me out every morning, which lately has been a really good thing.
But not so little.
No, not so little. But no, I'm just curious, this is fantastic.
Yeah, if anybody can help me out with Foxy Bear.
I totally hear you.
Yeah.
I do have, anyway, relationships are wonderful. The one thing I'm thinking that brought up, there are challenges in the industry right now, we all know. It's not to be taken lightly, you guys got a tough gig out there, but for me, my part is the marketing part. And I've been fortunate to work with Annette and with Joan, fortunate to work with Joan on her marketing, being consistent. So that's what I do. Once I build a relationship with you guys, is helping you with marketing. You gotta be consistent. I know a lot of the stuff seems, when you don't get any feedback, seems like it's not going anywhere, but you gotta stay with it. That's what I hope to do with you. Again, with Joan, with young Nick, it's always a pleasure to be part of your events. It's good to see you. We have a great title company right across the parking lot. Two good closers, a KGO veteran sales guy. Whatever you guys need out there, it's my pleasure to help you. I'm doing a lot of realtor tours lately, a lot of realtor tours. It seems like they're coming back. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm gonna make sure our calendar gets on our website more consistently than it has been. Do not, any of you hesitate, no matter how you do it.
I'm doing well, Bill. Thanks.
Do not hesitate to reach out if there's anything I can do. It'd be my pleasure. Joan, nice to see you.
Good to see you, Bill.
All right, guys, we're gonna get started so we can try to get you out of here on time. Again, thank you for coming. I just want to give a quick intro to Joan. She has been, she's doing her thing. We're good. She's been in the business for 8 years. Was at this academy office for 7.5 years, and she is now in Santa Fe. This is her first year there. Her production in 2022 was 26 million. In 2023, she did 12.5. And I'm gonna let her talk about where she is with her active listings now currently.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm excited.
I remember you when you just started. My production, so I look at production differently. I do a production sheet that I keep on the wall that keeps me motivated. My goal this year is 30 million. That's what I plan on doing. So when I look at it, I look at the breakdown right now. I have, where is it? I don't know. A little over 6 million closed and 1.5 million under contract. And then I have, a property in Santa Fe at almost 4 million, another one at 412,000. I have one in France listed at 1.2 million. And one that just came on in Rome at 6 million.
I'll do a tour on the one in Rome.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I have in listing agreements signed, but not on the market yet, 2.5 million. So 5 of them. So, thank you. So, this is a big motivator for me because we work out of my home office and I have to chase something constantly. So I use this and I brought it in case anybody wants to look at it and wants the template for it. So that's my production.
I love that. Thank you. I'm gonna go back to the basics. Can you tell us what got you started in the business?
What got me started in real estate? For the longest time heard, oh, you should be in real estate. So, sorry, I didn't turn it on. I'm Italian. Do I really need it? I don't know. First of all, before I even answer that question, I don't find it a coincidence that the function that Nick asked me to speak at involved alcohol. I mean, it's like, it's knows me that well. But anyway, I got involved in the business because for many, many years, I was told, oh, you should be in real estate. Oh, you should be in real estate. And then the way I went about it was I asked a realtor and he said, do you have 6 months worth of money in the bank? And saved that you can go for 6 months with no income. I said, no, I'm a single mom with 3 kids. And he said, you should not be in real estate. So when the date came that my kids were grown and out of the house, and I started thinking about it again, and it kept coming up in conversations, I decided, you know, all these people know me. I want to hear this from somebody who's never met me, doesn't know me. So I'm sure most of you know Dana Slade, right? So Dana at the time was with Howell Banker. I told my friend, I want you to pick 2 top producing realtors that I can take out to lunch and talk to. And then I'll decide if I should be in real estate. So one of them was Dana Slade, and the other one he told me was Jama Fontaine. Well, you could see how that ended up. And now Dana's here at Keller Williams, so I think I made the right decision. But that's how I got started in real estate.
I love that. And you have a small but mighty team. There's 3 of you under the Encore group, correct?
Yes, I do have a very small team. My wingman, my right arm, my ride or die buddy is MacGyver. Some of you know her as McKinley, but for me, she's MacGyver because I just go, MacGyver, and she goes, yes, and she fixes it. So, McKinley has been my full-time licensed executive assistant for almost 1.5 years now. It took me 3 years to find the right executive assistant. It's no joke, it's not easy, and it takes a lot of time. I do have a part-time virtual assistant, and then I have a transaction coordinator. And then I actually now, very interestingly, have a very young lady who is now 16 years old. And I've known her since she was 11, and every year she would call me and say, I still want to be your intern. And this year, she is now my intern. So
I
that's
love
my
that.
team.
And if you guys don't know, McKinley used to work the front desk here, and we were so fortunate enough to have her grow in this position. This just shows what Keller Williams does, so
It's very true.
it's
Yeah.
great.
You're welcome.
Right, so getting started in the business, can you tell us who your mentors were or who guided you most?
Who my mentors were and who guided me most. I'm gonna answer that question, Nick, if I may, by asking a question. I would like to ask all of you, who do you think is the top producing independent agent? Anybody have a guess? Dominic, okay. And who do you think is the top producing team? Now, you can't be independent and a team. David Roybal, okay. So the top independent agent we think is Dominic, and the top team is David Roybal. I have a question, and this is my way of answering Nick's question of who influenced me. Who here knows why Dominic is so successful? For a fact. For a fact.
I know.
Yes, there you go. Who here knows why David Roybal, for a fact, is so successful as a team leader?
Coaches?
I know he really has, he has a very good coach. I know his coach is really,
Really good.
really good. Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, who here can afford 2 cups of coffee? And a thank you note. Lynn, you can? So that's who my mentors were. You look around and you find the people who are doing that, you say, I want to be like them. I took Linda Hartman out to lunch. I took David Roybal out to lunch. I've taken Celicia out to lunch. When I find the people that resonate with me, I pick their brain and I make it worth their while. The most important thing that you need to do is, I don't know if you should be on a team. I don't know if you should be an independent broker, and neither do you. The same way that I didn't know if I should be in real estate, so I went and interviewed realtors to get an answer, is the same way you handle who should be my mentor. But guys, you're sitting here with a gold mine in front of you. You have the best of the best. Right here, and by right here, I mean here, Santa Fe and Riverside. Any of you who know me know that I do panels, and I won't do a panel unless there's a representative from each office. And I'm telling you, that's what I did. I got 2 cups of coffee, and then I wrote a thank you note. And you can ask any of those people on Linda, did I take you out to lunch? Yes, I did. And I find the people that work. So that's my answer.
You love that. That was the best answer. You had something heartfelt happen to you. Can you share that story with us?
I did have something heartfelt happen to me. When I did go into real estate, I was in a very difficult situation. I was over $100,000 in debt. I had a dear friend tell me, you need to be in real estate, and I just cried and said, I don't have a penny to my name. I am so in debt. And he said, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna pay for school. You're gonna go, you're smiling because you heard the story. You're gonna go to real estate school and I'm gonna pay for it because that's how much I know you're gonna be successful. And he paid for me to go to real estate school. At the same time, I was quite ill and fighting a brain tumor. I went to real estate school at 57 years old. And I worked full-time. I was doing about 80 hours a week between school and my work that I was doing at that time. And then I finally got my license in April. It took me 6 months to close a deal, 6 months of no income. Keep in mind, I didn't have any money. And so it was quite a challenge. I was eating at Sam's Club, Costco, the samples. My very first class after I was legitimately licensed and a Keller Williams broker, I was so excited. I had a water bottle. I went to my sink to fill it up and they had cut my water off. Just to keep it in perspective. So in the fall, my coach, Crystal Porter, said, you have to go to family reunion. I'm like, I have to pay my mortgage. And she said, I don't care what you do, you're going to family reunion. And I'm so glad that she convinced me to go. Unfortunately, while I was there, I got the phone call. And it was from the doctor's office letting me know that the tumor was too big now. And there were no more options. And they had let me make decisions up till that point. And it was time to do something about it. I said, okay, great. Well, I'm at this convention and they said, when will you be home? And I said, I'll be home Wednesday evening late. And they said, great, we'll see you Friday morning. And I'm like, oh, what? No, we're not doing that. And so meanwhile, because you have to have a sense of humor, the tumor's name was Tina, the tiny little tumor. And so I had 2 people at Keller Williams here that knew my secret. Nobody else knew my secret. And they knew my secret because sometimes I would stutter and sometimes I would not be able to speak, or I would do something, talk very, very loud. So they would give me the message. They say, by the way, Joan, Tina left you a message. And that's how I would know to check myself. But that's how profound it was. But what was even more profound was I told the doctor, I'm a single mom with 3 kids. I cannot drop everything like that. He said, great, you can have a week. And so I went to the QB at the time. And he said, what can we do? I said, oh, nothing. I had my own agenda. It was gonna be like a weekend thing. Then I was coming back to, it was hilarious what I thought was gonna happen. Well, I don't know if you all know Missy Ashcraft, but at the time she was the head of KW Cares. And I went into her office. He said, would you please just at least talk to Missy? Can I please tell Missy? And I said, oh, if you have to, go ahead. And then she asked me, what are the plans? I said, well, they've given me a week because I'm a single mom and my children all wanted to be here. My best friend, who was a therapist and helped me raise my kids, was here for them. And she said, who's gonna feed them all? And I said, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. And the next thing I know, they created this meal train. Were you here then, Marie? No. They created this meal train on Facebook and everybody was signing up and making sure that my family got fed, diapers for the grandkids, all of that. And as an Italian mother, I can't begin to tell you the kind of relief that that gave me. And then from there, I was told that, I forget who the broker was, but somebody went into the office and said, you know, I'm here to sign up. And they said, oh, well, we don't need any more. We've got it all. And they said, great, here's some money. And then another broker, and then another broker. And the next thing I know, I had several $1,000s to help pay my medical bills from people that I didn't even know. I hadn't even been here a year yet. And these people were there for me. So I guess the reason why I take the time to tell the story is if you don't realize what you have here, you should. And if you don't realize what you have, basically, as hard as this sounds, it's shame on you. Because they're here, everybody's here, everybody's willing to help. So that's why I finally got over keeping it a secret and sharing it, because, you know, the people in this room, and I don't know if it was you, Alice, but somebody named me the Tuminator.
No, that
It was, and so, and it stuck. So my name it came from somebody, and it was, I'm called the Tuminator, and I have an anniversary every year. So that's my very long answer. Oh, I will add this. 8 years in the business, and please hear me say I'm not trying to brag. I'm here to tell you what hard work can do. 8 years in the business, sick as a dog when I started. It took me a year to recover. I am now debt-free. I own 4 real estate properties, my own home, and I have 2 luxury cars. So don't ever think that hard work can't do it, because it can.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Oh. From what you learned from those experiences, what tools do you still use today to overcome obstacles?
The tools that I still use today, I brought some of them. I'm a very visual, tactical person. That's how I operate. And interestingly enough, since, you know, post the surgery and everything, there's certain things that my brain refuses to do. I cannot use a Google Calendar. I have to use a big old calendar. My neurologist was like, what do you want me to do? It's broken. I don't know what to tell you. Go get a big calendar. So I work in ways like that. And so I use a lot of visuals. So I brought some of the visuals. I have a picture of my children and I saying thank you to Keller Williams with my head still bandaged up. Whenever I think I'm having a hard day, I look at that, because those were some hard days. And then I have a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge, because part of my big why, I know you didn't ask me this question, Nick, but part of my big why is my grandparents that didn't meet me, that took such chances to come to a country that they didn't know anybody in. So I don't ever forget the shoulders that I stand on and what they did for me. And that's how I lift myself up on the hard days.
Love that. All right, what daily activities do you do to keep a positive mindset?
Funny you should ask. My daily activities, every morning, I do a couple of different things. I always journal. And I wanted to bring this because I think it's really important. Who here journals? Okay, for those of you who don't journal, you're missing out on a fantastic opportunity to change your mindset. And I would highly recommend you start with a gratitude journal and a very brief one, because it's not easy to journal until you get used to it. I love this one because there are literally just like 3 questions every day, and that's it. And this really, really helps me. I read every morning. Now, let me put that in perspective for you. Again, because of some of the challenges I have, I can only read for 5 minutes. And I read different things. I'll read a spiritual thing or I'll read a business thing. Right now, I'm reading, this is a super great book called Creating Superfans. It is a great, great book. And then Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein really helped me out a lot. I also do long-term journaling. I'm a very spiritual person, so I use sound and I use smell. I go to all my senses every morning and I ground myself. Before McKinley and I start our day in the office, we sit, we plant our feet, we close our eyes, we take 3 deep breaths in, we surround ourselves in the light of God, and we put ourselves in a bubble before those customers can get at us with their knives. We get the bubble, and that's what I do every morning, almost every morning.
That's great. Thank you for bringing the visuals.
Yes, props.
And after your morning routine, what does a day in your life look like?
Oh my gosh, a day in my life is very different Because I work 3 markets, I work the Albuquerque and surrounding area, the Santa Fe and surrounding area. I'm a member of 3 different MLSs, SPAR, GAR, and TCAR, and I work internationally. It's very, very different. What I do try to do is we try to get 1 day a week in the office where we can just hammer out a lot of stuff. When I try to get my Albuquerque appointments on 1 to 2 days a week and my Santa Fe appointments on 1 to 2 days a week. And that basically takes up the 5 days. And on the weekends, I usually am just either working on the international stuff or taking clients out.
I love that. All
I
right.
love you.
Thank you. I'm gonna go back to the visuals. So I know you believe in vision boards and manifesting on a high level. Can you share your vision board success story?
Which one? Pick one.
I want the one with the Porsche.
The one with the Porsche. Okay, so I am a huge believer in manifesting and vision boards and all of which. How many here do a vision board?
Alicia runs the whole world.
Thank you for stealing my thunder. If you don't do a vision board, you need to see Celicia because she does the best vision board class. She does it every year and it is awesome. I will tell you that what Nick is talking about is, I'll share the story. Years ago, my car, which was not a Porsche, broke down and I wasn't a realtor yet. And I was at the Saturn dealership and in the showroom was the Saturn Sky. And I thought, oh my God, that car is just to die for. So I was getting my, minivan worked on and I took the brochure for the Sky and I took it home and I cut out the car. Then I got a picture of my face and I glued it on the person's face. And then I put it on the light switch in my office. Then I had my best friend take a picture of it and we talked every day. So every time we talked, she saw a picture of it come up on her phone. And so I just kept telling myself, oh my God, I am going to have a sports car. And it was about a year and a half later, I went to see a client and I pulled up in his parking lot and there was this red Porsche with saddle interior. And I was just like, be still my heart. And so his assistant came out and said, Joan, Dave's ready to see you. I said, I need a minute. And he's like, what are you doing? I said, look at this car. I'm having a moment with the car, So he's like, okay. And he said, you should tell him if you really like it. And I said, why would I tell him that? And he said, because he sells them. He keeps them for a year or two, then he sells them. I was like, okay. So long story short, I was in food service then. I was loading 31 boxes of food into my car to deliver to a restaurant whose product didn't get on the truck. And I'm sitting there in the heat and my car breaks down, the ice cream's melting, everything happens. And I get a call and it's Dave and he said, I'm gonna sell that car, do you wanna buy it? And it was like so preposterous. I said, sure, let me work on that. Well, guess what? I figured out how I bought it. Yes, I was in the Book of the Month Club for 5 years, but I own that car outright. So honestly, see that lady about vision boards.
I agree.
I will,
Great
I
vision.
will share one other vision story, because to me, it's so important. You have to do it. A few years ago, I think it was 4 or 5 years, I can't remember. But I was at a Keller Williams, the awards banquet every year, right? And I was, I have maybe 2 years into my career. And I'm not good at looking at other people win stuff and not winning. And I came from a business where I was the only female sales rep for 10 years. And I was one of their top 2 producers for 9 out of those 10 years. So I'm sitting there and this one's going and that one. And I made a promise to myself and I told my coach, if I'm not on that damn stage next year, I'm firing myself. I either am good enough to be up there or I'm just not good enough at this. And she was like, okay, we'll see. And I did it and I made it onto the stage. But then my last year, which was 2 years ago here at the Academy office, Delilah had a rough year. You all know Delilah. I didn't have the best year either. So after the awards were over, I said, come on. And she said, what are we doing? I said, we're gonna go get our award. She goes, what award? It's over. I said, this year's over. Next year's about to begin. Let's go. We have to go accept our award. We're gonna crush it next year. And I said, watch. And I got on the stage. She goes, you're crazy. I said, well, get up here and be crazy with me. And we went up there and we shook hands with people that didn't exist, accepted our awards, stepped down. You know where they take the photos? I said, one. We went over, we took our pictures, and guess what? We crushed it the next year. Both of us did. So you have to see it. You have to see it before it happens. You can't say, oh my God, I just need to make more money. You just go, oh my gosh, the money is coming in. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have multiple sources of income. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me on a continuous basis in increasing quantities all the time. That's what you say. Don't allow yourself to say the other stuff. Anybody can say that.
Manifesting at a high level. I love it. I'm gonna switch gears here a little bit. Throughout your growth, you noticed value in Santa Fe. Can you tell us how you tapped into that market?
Yes, I tapped into that market, actually complaining to one of my dear colleagues, Jackie Staton. I was like, I'm just not doing enough. I don't have the volume. And she goes, go to Santa Fe. And so I was like, Santa Fe, no. And when I first started working, JMO wanted me in Santa Fe. I said, are you kidding me? Those people will eat me alive and spit me out in a minute. They'll, I'm gonna stay in Albuquerque where I know people and they'll forgive me if I screw up. But then it got to that point and it kept coming up, Santa Fe, you should be doing luxury. So one of the things that I did from Jump Street is I always went to all three places to take classes because I wanted to hear from everybody, not just the people I saw every day. And so I went up to, actually I was at Riverside and Ralph Larrañaga was teaching a class and he's from Santa Fe. And he said, come to Santa Fe. So I did. And while I went to a class up there, the lady at the front desk said, oh, listen, here's the schedule. You can come to anything you want. And I said, what is this one here, this meet and greet? And she said, oh, that's after the Keller Williams luxury meeting. They have a meet and greet. And I was like, oh, that. And she goes, why can't you? And I said, because I'm not luxury. She said, it's okay. You're not allowed to go to the meeting, but you're allowed to come afterwards. And she goes, try it, just try it. Well, I learned more from going to afterwards. I couldn't have told you what double Adobe was. I didn't know if that was a dip or I didn't know what the hell a double Adobe was, but I would listen and I was too embarrassed to ask questions, but I was smart enough to listen. And then what I started doing was I started sneaking in earlier and earlier. While their meeting was going on, I would just be like around the corner and they wouldn't see me. And I would just start learning stuff and finding out who the heavy hitters were. And then from there, I would just offer my services. You have to make yourself memorable. You have to be unforgettable. And I would do open houses. I would do everything and anything I could. Monica McClan, who runs the Keller Williams Santa Fe Luxury, she had somebody on her team call me and say, Joan, can you do me a favor? And I said, what do you need? And he said, Monica's got a buyer that needs to see a house. I can't help her. She can't do it. No problem. So I rolled out the red carpet. You have to think of everything as an opportunity. And Monica called me on the phone and said, what did you do to my buyers? And I'm like, oh shit, what did I do to the buyer? I thought I did a good job. And I said, I showed them the houses you needed them to see. And she goes, yeah, but all that other stuff? She goes, now they say I have to have an assortment of cold beverages in my car for them. I have to have snacks, and that if my showings are more than 2 hours, I need to have a lunch. And I said, sorry, that's surprise and delight. So that's how I got started in Santa Fe.
Perfect. And she didn't stop there because she started selling overseas. Can you share your experience with that?
Yes, and thank you to Roberta, because Roberta's the one who kept pushing for me to be here and to talk, and I really, really appreciate that. And I could do a whole class on international real estate, but I'll just start by saying, anybody in this room can do international real estate, I assure you. You have to have the chutzpah, and you have to have the tenacity, and you have to, and it takes time. And like I said, I can always come back and teach a class on that. It took me 5.5 years to do my first deal. But having said that, you're not gonna believe this. My first deal was, I swear to Pete, a call off of my website. And I ended up doing a deal. It was the highest per square meter in Florence to date, still so far, at 9.5 million euro. And that was two years ago, McKinley, two years ago. Since then, I closed a little pied à terre also in Florence. It was only 550,000 euro, but how cool, it is really cool. If you go on my website, you will see I don't have any marketing material on that one yet. But on my website, which is encorerea.com, you'll see my listing in France, which is only 1.2 million. And I just picked up a new one in Rome that took me 2 years to get, and that one will go on the market at 6 million. So I tend to do more listings than buyers because there's a lot more money in listings than buyers over there. But I will share with you, in the international market, they have always done things the way we're about to do it. They don't even have an MLS there. So it's like New York. There is no MLS. You are the MLS. So you have to share it. And I have a listing in Germany.
Where did that one come from?
Ironically enough, the listing in Germany came from a cousins that I discovered in Sicily. My family is from Camporeale, Sicily. And when there, I discovered DiGiovanna wine. My name is uniquely spelled with a capital G. So is theirs. Then I saw photographs of them, and some of us look awfully a lot alike. Long story short, Italians are funny people. And when my grandfather got the rest of his family over for 3 years, everybody believed that the streets were paved with gold. They truly believed that in Sicily. So he disowned his entire family. So there was no connection, no communication. We didn't know our cousins. And I reached out to them via email and they wouldn't respond. And I said, I really think we're related, and they wouldn't respond. Well, I went to Italy and I had, thanks to Annette Alvarez, I had a listing appointment in Sicily, in Taormina, that Annette got me. And then I went to visit my hometown, and then I went there because I'll be like, I'm gonna be in their face and they're gonna have to talk to me. And we're gonna find out if we're related or not. So that's how we met, and we've decided we don't need a DNA or anything. We've just decided we're cousins. And then they reached out, and they have a property in Germany because their mother was German. Their father is from Camporeale and is the Sicilian. So they have a commercial and residential property in Germany that I am selling for them soon.
So do you speak German also?
No, I don't even speak Italian.
Where in Germany? So how are you doing this?
We can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce it.
It's Wermelskirchen.
Wermelskirchen, exactly what she said. So it's about 45 minutes from the Munich airport.
Okay,
So that's that.
Love
that
that.
is a good question. Though. How do you communicate? Do you have somebody that you?
I do,
contact there?
and like I said, it really is a whole class in itself, but I have boots on the ground. I interview brokers. And I work with, in Italy, I have 2 different brokerage firms that I work with. One is Sotheby's. I work with the head of Sotheby's for all of Italy, Diletta, on the high dollar ones. And then my little pied à terre, I work with a small brokerage firm that did an excellent job for me as well.
There's a lot of them speak English.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does anybody have questions about this before I move to the next topic? I know this is exciting. We are gonna bring her back to do more, a whole class on this, I promise.
And I'll do the class more on how you can become an international. That's more important
I was
because you
gonna
can.
ask, do you have to be licensed in those countries? Like, how does that work?
Each country is different, but you work with a licensed broker there and you spend a lot of money. The way I do it, which is not the way I would teach you how to do it. There's more than one way to do international real estate. The way I do it is more complicated. And you spend a lot of money hiring an international attorney to draw up specific paperwork. Because you are theoretically the marketing director, not the realtor. Therefore, you do not have to be licensed. You just have to have a licensed realtor on your team.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay, I know sometimes you have a goal and reward yourself. What is the last fun purchase you gave yourself from reaching your goal?
Well, the last fun purchase from reaching my goal would be these shoes that I have on that Nick and I are very fond of. Because I told myself, it took years, but I said the very first time I sell a luxury property, I am getting myself a pair of Christian Louboutin black pumps, and that's what I'm gonna get. So I got a picture of a pair and I kept it with me everywhere I went. And then eventually I got it. And then Nick and I got into the importance of that. And if you notice the belt that he's wearing, that was his goal and he got it. Interestingly enough, I put a little bit of a twist on that for myself. And that's this evening bag here. I was in Cannes getting ready. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
I was in Cannes and I was listing my property in Cabri, which is about 20 minutes from Cannes. Cannes is, where the film festival is. There are more luxury shops per capita in Cannes than anywhere else in the world. And so I was looking around and I justifiably got to buy some stuff at Versace and Gucci because they lost my luggage. And I had a listing appointment with no clothes to wear. So I thought, okay, so I could justify that. But then I was walking by and I saw this bag in Jimmy Choo. And I went in and the woman said, there are approximately 12 in the world, none of which are in the United States. And they were only distributed to 5 areas. And it wasn't inexpensive. It was pretty up there. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Well, they proceeded to keep feeding me Perrier Jouet. And it started to become, well, do you really believe in yourself or don't you? Because if you do, and you say you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, I guess you could buy that bag and prove it to yourself. So I decided, hell's bells, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna put the cart before the horse this time. I'm gonna buy that damn bag. And that's gonna be it. Well, I kid you not, talk about manifesting. Kid you not, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I got a text message from a client that I hadn't seen in a year who chose not to buy in Santa Fe. We put an offer in on a house. He and his wife did not get it. Then they decided to build in Philadelphia. The last time I checked, they were $250,000 into the deal. He sends me a text message and said, Joan, we're quitting on it. We want to buy in Santa Fe. Do you still want to be our broker? And they bought a $1.6 million house 3 months later. Yay. It works. So that's my thing.
That is true. And honestly, that's when I was a brand new broker. Had sold only a couple of homes and my price point wasn't high. So after talking to Joan, she's like, what do you want to hit? I said, if I hit 500,000, then I will get Belt. And I called her as soon as I closed on that property and
So
it
exciting.
was amazing. So thank you. Okay, if you could go back 5 years and give yourself advice today, what would it be?
I could go back 5 years and give myself advice, it would be to take better care of my health and to trust more in the process, that everything's gonna be okay, instead of trying to force things to happen.
Did you have any other questions?
I don't have any other questions. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I do want to point out one other thing to you. Everybody is here to help. I remember when Monica started and I looked at her and said, girl, you have got it. You are gonna be big, really big. And she was like, I am. And I said, yes, you are. And she is. And Celicia and Lynn Johnson, there are so many people in this room. And one of the things that Keller Williams has decided to do is they have decided to put more energy into helping people who are interested in luxury get into luxury. Because they have spent many, many years researching. And what happens is, with the exception of Dominic, people get into luxury and they tend to leave after they become really successful. And we want to stop that. And the way we're going to stop that is with a program, it's called Keller Williams Luxury Pro. And I'm not going to go into it now, but it is a program and I do have information on it that if you would like to know more about it now, you can email me. But there's going to be a big launch. It'll be introduced the first week of July. But I'm here to tell you that myself and Celicia and Lynn Johnson are on a mission to make sure that people get into luxury and don't leave and stay with this company. So I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to, McKinley, did you pass out the business cards on them?
No.
So one other quick thing that I wanted to say is, one of the things that works really well for me is I don't wait until my clients close to give them gifts. I try to surprise and delight my clients at all times. That little journal, the gratitude journal, almost every one of my clients will get it. I had a birthday party for my big birthday this year. I gave the journal to everybody who showed up at that party. And then on another note, there's a bookmark that McKinley's giving out. And that's a bookmark, super easy. You're welcome to steal it from me. It is a true story that my parents told us because my name is very, very important to my family. And then I just put my little business sticker on there. So it's just a cute little thing, but people appreciate little delightful things during the process and not just at the end. So I wanted to point that out. Does anybody have any questions for me?
How's Brava doing?
Brava's doing great. Yes. Any other questions? If there isn't any other questions, then can I ask for a couple of ahas? Yes.
I had no idea of your story and I thank you for sharing it.
Thank you.
It was way more than what I thought.
I never told, in the beginning, for some reason, Roberta, I don't know, somehow I thought it made me be flawed. And over the years, I realized that being flawed is not something to be embarrassed about. So here's a book for you. This is a book that I read that I really enjoyed. It's from a broker in Santa Fe who wrote it, Bunny Terry, and she was with our office for a very long time. Yes.
Are you all well now?
Am I all well now? No, but I'm well enough.
And you look beautiful. Your hair looks really nice.
Thank you.
And I bring that up.
We have any other ahas? Yes.
Surprise and delight.
Surprise and delight. Perfect. And now you get a book.
Oh.
And I have one more.
And I already have a book, so I can have it. I'm in luxury, but I thought Luxury Pro was like you had to sell X amount of things.
Right? Everybody, it's so confusing. And that's why they've put together this group now. And we're gonna make it super easy. And we're gonna make it available to everyone, not just the people who qualify. That's the key. It does, if you qualify, you qualify. We're here to make sure you can qualify if you want to. And the other thing that's more important than that to me, most of my work isn't luxury. Only maybe 40% of my stuff is luxury.
I didn't know that. I thought, like, if you're in luxury, you're in luxury. I thought, I just thought pro was something different. I didn't know what it was.
It is a little bit different, but you'll know what it is.
I'll reach out.
Yes. Does anybody else have any other aha they can share? So literally.
I have 3 pages.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not gonna talk about all those,
Thank
but
you.
the thing that stuck out a lot, you're just, and so inspiring. Your dedication and your diligence, but no excuses. That was my biggest aha,
Thank you.
be unforgettable, and I
Yes.
love helping others.
Yes.
And that's what our company is about, is helping others, because when we do that, we get back. And the mindset is like super important. You can see all your stories, how they've all, because of your mind and your manifestation, they're all came back. So no matter where we're going now and to challenge, as long as we have our good mindset, we're still gonna flourish. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm so glad I came today.
I am too.
Yes, another book to read.
I think that from when I first met you and watching you like skyrocket since then is so inspiring, and the manifestation that you speak on and stuff. But I love how you're still so humble and willing to like reach out and pull somebody up and say, if you want to get here too, I'm here to help you. Like you still have that KW culture mindset. You're not above
Always.
everything now. And you're still really humble and willing to help anybody get to where you are.
I really
And that's
appreciate
really
that.
special.
I really appreciate that. And if you want to talk about coming from contribution, this lady surprised me the other day by putting a post on Facebook about
Well,
me.
you surprised me with an amazing review, so there you go.
Well, but it's, it is true and it is important. And we have these flyers about this dog because my client needs help with this dog. And, this poor lady, she's lost everything because somebody convinced her that she won the Publishers Clearinghouse. And she doesn't have, her husband is deceased, she doesn't have children, her niece is in Texas. And I'm doing everything I can. And we finally, and now I have to sell that house for as much money as possible because that's all she has to get into Fairwinds. And she understandably won't go until I get her dog a home. So that's why I brought the flyers. But the thing of it is, she said to me, Denise, she's like, I don't even know how I'm gonna get her to the home. I said, well, I know. I said, I'm taking her. She says, I said, and it kind of hurts me if my clients say to me, well, you're too busy or you're too whatever. I realize I haven't done my job. Because if they think that, then I haven't presented myself properly. So keep that in mind. Always, I'm lucky. I came from immigrants that were peasants and, hard work was never considered a curse in my family. So just ask my mom, she knows. But anyway, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And thank you everybody for inviting me, and I really appreciate it. And like I said, I'm happy to come back and talk about the international or anything else you want to know.
We're gonna do that. And I do want to end on one more note. Can you give the plug for Santa Fe? Because I know you built a business with referral partners and you do help brokers in Santa Fe.
Absolutely, yes. I am a broker partner to a lot of people for Santa Fe. Celicia sends me all of her Santa Fe business. I'm working with Nick. I'm working with Kara Shug. I am happy to be your referral partner in Santa Fe and help you with anything you need. Having said that, I also have helped brokers that initially, like Amy and her husband, they initially didn't know anything about Santa Fe and they referred business to me, and then I taught them how to do it. And now they do most of it themselves. But if it's something that they know is out of their wheelhouse, they'll send it to me. So I'm here to tell you that you don't have to hire me. If you need a door, I can't tell you, Janine DiLorenzo, Joan, can you please hold my house open? I'm like, sure, Janine, we'll do it. It's only Father's Day, but okay. So I'm here to help anyone. And I also have something to ask of all of you. McKinley and I are looking for 2 people to join our team. One to be a production broker and the other to be a licensed non-production person. So if anybody is thinking about that, reach out to me. And I wanted to bring this for you real quick. This is something I'm doing for a new listing in Santa Fe. I just thought I'd bring a marketing tip to those of you that may not have ever done this before. Newsflash, I've done this for a house that was only $200,000 because it wouldn't sell. Even if it doesn't help it sell, it helps the seller feel like you're paying attention. I think I paid $30 for 250 on Vistaprint. So do yourself a favor and get creative, and we're always here. If you ever want to run anything by me, if you ever want help with anything, please know that I'm here to help.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions? No. All right, look out for that class. We are going to do the international class. Thank you. And I appreciate all of you guys coming today.